I'm Michelle here, and I am here with you today with this scrapbook process video for my Creative Scrapbook. I am using the limited edition January kit, and so it is full of simple stories, vintage, fresh snow collection. And so I felt like doing more of a mixed media layout for this one, and so that's what I am working on here. And so I am using the Vicky Bouton Foundations paper and creating a bunch of snowflakes using this stamp collection from Close to My Heart. And I'm just using my little distress inks for this. And so prize ribbon, chipped sapphire, weathered wood, and speckled egg are the colors I am using. And I am not paying any attention to my stamping quality because as you can see here shortly, that part really is not going to matter. And so this technique is really a very forgiving technique. So if you're nervous about doing mixed media, I highly recommend it. So once I have my stamping down, I'm just spraying it with water and then loosening it up a little bit more with my paintbrush. And so that is giving it more of a loose impression rather than having those real precise snowflakes. And so it's a very fun technique. And so it's really great for things like this, snowflakes, for flowers, butterflies, all of that kind of um, images where precision isn't really necessary. So I have this snowflake stencil that I'm also using, and my Vicky Bouton silver glaze, as well as my little brush there. So I'm adding some silver snowflakes as well. And then I am going to do a little bit of stamping. And so since I'm using this verbiage stamp that says laced with new fallen snow from that same Close to My Heart stamp collection, I do want it to uh, be better than most of my stamped images. And so I am going to go ahead and use my Misty to make sure it's nice and straight and that I get a good impression. And I'm glad I did because it takes me 3 or 4 times to get it to the depth of color that I want it to be. All right, and so I am also going to use a little musical uh, stamp. And so I can't remember what this might come from a Sizzix 49 in Market stamp collection, but it's a really good little add a something something. And so then I'm also going to use this stencil from Bramble Fox, I believe, and to add some opaque texture paste from Tim Holtz. I'm going to take it through this stencil. So I am like stocking up on my foundations paper because I know I don't know what the future of foundation paper is, and I'm not looking forward to going back to gessoing all my paper. And so if you're like me, stock up. It might I know the formula was changing, and now with Vicky Bouton going away from American crafts, I just don't know what's going to happen with foundation paper. I hope that it sticks around in some iteration or another because it is just the handiest product ever for dealing with mixed media. So I take my stencil and then I had like over to the left I actually had like a thumbprint that I somehow got on my paper. And then I had a couple splotches over to the right that I didn't like. And so I just covered both of those with the texture paste as well. And yeah, then I'm going to go back through and I am going to add some splatters as well. I must do that off camera, but I think I use Uncharted Mariner for that. And then this is my title, so Winter Wonderland, and I have covered the snowflakes with that gel medium so they have a bit of sparkle to them. And then I cut out the Winter Wonderland on my Cricut with the lovely wood grain paper that was in the collection. The picture that I'm going to use, which you can kind of see off to the right, has the fence in it. And so the wood grain was perfect. And now I'm taking a look at some of the pieces in the collection, how I am going to build some clusters. And so I feel confident about the picture. I feel confident about where my title is going to go. So go ahead and get those down. Now, this picture is of my daughter. So this is quite a few years ago, as she's an adult now. But I know I've scrapbooked this picture before. But I am doing it again because I just love this picture. It's one of my absolute favorites, and it seemed perfect for this theme of this layout. So I don't know if any of you have scrapbooked. If you have oldies but goodies that every once in a while you decide, I love that picture and I'm going to scrapbook it again and kind of see your different style and things, how things progress. But there are no rules in scrapbooking. So if you have thought about doing it and have held back, just say go for it. So all right, so I have that Let It Snow that is from the one of the chipboard phrases that came in the collection. There was, or I should say, kit. So there was a chipboard collection from Cartabella and one from Echo Park. And so I believe that one is from Cartabella. I'm going to go ahead and add that mug of hot chocolate and then the ice skates below. And those are going to be my two main clusters. And so I'm going to go ahead and ink most of those with chipped sapphire and start building those clusters. So I like that little blue tag. And I like the ice skating and bundled up theme, so going to go ahead and add the mittens to that upper left cluster. And I am adding some foam tape just to the top of each piece, and then I am uh, adhering the bottoms just down to the paper to kind of help with bulk issues. I have cut out quite a few tags. I might have mentioned that in some of my other videos, but there is a 12 by 12 sheet of tags. And so I go ahead and add some of those to each cluster. And yeah, so far, so good. And I like how that is turning out. I like the little pops of blue. And I'm going to go ahead and put that Chasing Snowflakes up at the top because that is definitely what she is doing there. And then I'm going to look at adding some of these snowflakes to the layout. Now, I have taken a lot of them and just covered them with a shimmer pen so they're sparkly. I add one to the title and a few throughout the layout. And then I am going to take a look at adding just a little bit of the floral pieces. And so I like those kind of the pussy willow type of buds, and so I'm going to add those to both clusters. And then I add a couple of longer pieces to that tag so it has a little bit of height, so it looks like it's kind of crawling around up along the picture there. And then I'm going to add a couple flowers. Now I think the large one I decide is too big, but I definitely used the blue one and a couple of the smaller ivory ones there on that tag. I like the baby it's cold outside word phrase, so that is going to stick around. And yeah, I am just playing with things, getting things kind of how I like. If you've watched my videos, you know I am a bit of a fusser, and so to each their own. I love you know, people who can place things with confidence and just um, one and done. But that is not me. I lots of times need to play with it a bit, and those times when I get it how I like it the first time, well, I just am happy when that happens because it's does not happen very often. So, okay, I'm going to add some of these hearts. So I've already covered those with glossy accents, so they have a little bit of texture. And I have played, or I am going to play with that large white flower here in a bit, because I kind of want to use it, but it just feels too big as I'm adding all these other little bits and pieces and fussiness. So I add one of the small white flowers up there. I curl the stem, and with the large white flower, and I think I've already played with it a little bit because I can see the the carnage over there to the left of some of the petals that I've taken off because I do make it quite a bit smaller so that it just doesn't feel quite as impactful. And so I go ahead and oh, I'm going to take off a few more pieces and then I'm going to fold it up a little bit and stick it there above um, the hot chocolate. So you'll see that happen here in a minute. And I might have even taken, yeah, I took out some of the blue stamen. I had painted those in a previous process video. I took out some of them and I made them even just a little bit smaller. So play with your flowers. There's no rules. However you can get the best use out of them, go for it. All right. So one thing that I do in this layout that I do off camera is I really loved using all of the fresh snow pieces and the cut file that came in the kit, but I did want to add a little bit more patterned paper. I had the blue and white polka dot and then the minty green snowflake paper on my photo. But I did off camera cut some strips off of either end and add the green mint to the left side and then the blue and green mint to the right. And then I sewed along each edge just to bring in a little bit more pattern paper. So that's my layout. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out my creative scrapbook, and here are the close-ups.